Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom reviews. You see by the title below, yes, this is on episode 4 of Rewrite Season 2. And yes, that means it's the start of the new arc, the Terra route. Finally, I've been so excited for this new episode to come out. Literally the whole week I've been like, oh my gosh, I honestly cannot wait for this episode. Like literally, I've just been waiting, sitting down in my chair all day like, man, when's the new episode gonna come out? Nah, not really like that, but I've definitely been excited for it, considering I definitely enjoyed the moon route. It's awesome how well that, going in the forums is always awesome to see when people are saying that something is being adapted well. A lot of people said the moon route was adapted well, and I definitely enjoyed that. And it feels good to go in the forums and see that a lot of people have been saying that, this first episode was done well as well, and a lot of people are enjoying it. It's just really awesome to see that, especially considering how season 1 went and how the forums were pretty damn toxic, to say the least, for at least season 1. I definitely excited for this new arc to see what was gonna, how this one was gonna be different in comparison to the moon route, which was honestly, it was complicated at certain points. I'm not gonna lie that I was confused at certain points, but I definitely still enjoyed it. And there's some things that was kind of confusing in this one that I had a couple questions on for this new arc. Obviously, it's a new arc, it's a new thing, brand new world pretty much. So I was definitely excited to see what was going to happen in this one. And we start off straight with something new, with Kotaro being in like the military or something, and they're calling him Bond. Not really too sure on why they were calling him Bond and what's going on there, but they'll probably explain more in future episodes, considering that was like kind of like a future thing, and then all of a sudden we go back to the past and we see Kotaro back in school, and it's a different Kotaro, which is completely crazy considering we've seen him in the first season, we've seen him in the moon route, and now we see him here with like a definitely darker kind of personality, definitely a lot more like edgier, I guess I would say. And like he's just like antisocial in comparison to how he was in the first season. He was a lot more like, I would say, outgoing and cheerful in comparison to how he is now, so it's pretty crazy that since things have changed, and now that Kagari's not here, she didn't stab him, Kotori didn't have to save him, thus the whole thing with him not being the same age as Kotori then, which is, it kind of confused me on like how does the romance work in this one. I'm guessing there's no romance in this one because they're all like grade school compared to him. He's already like in high school, so that's a huge age difference. I'm not even too sure like how far in the future the military part is either, so I'm guessing there's no romance in this one, unless it does have like somewhere along the way. It's possible. I'm not too sure on how this works, but Kagari somehow appears in this season. Probably wouldn't happen till the end. No spoilers if that really is how it is, since I know that Kagari's on the moon and she's not on Earth, so there is no Kagari here. And I'm wondering, like, is Kotaro gonna have like memories coming back to him, or is this just a completely new world? It's all fresh. You don't really think about the things that happened in Moon too much with Kagari, or is he really gonna have memories coming back? That's the big question for me, at least in this starting of the new episode, the new arc overall. But yeah, after that, we get to see the new opening and ending, to which, may I add, I really did enjoy. I really did like a lot. And it looks like in the opening that he is like some type of agent. Like honestly, they made Kotaro look like a badass in that opening. Like, it's kind of weird because you see in when he's in the military as Bond or whatever, he was scared. That was the first time he's ever killed someone. So maybe after that he joins Guardian or something like that, or maybe he joins before, and Guardian, obviously maybe he didn't have to kill any humans. That was the first time he killed a human. Before, he was just killing monsters and stuff. Maybe that's how it works. I'm not really too sure on where the timeline is for that overall. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to see how everything is going to be like completely different in comparison to how the first season went, in comparison to how Moon Route went. We're already in this part where it's like he's older, he's different. Future setting, something to do with the military. He's going to be like an agent, possibly for Guardian, which would be pretty damn awesome. We already see at the beginning of this as well that he is part of his family. His parents are like they're really into that Marto, which is, I think they're owned by Gaia, right? So he is joined with them for the moment. So it's cool to show a bunch of things with Gaia as well and their whole beliefs and everything. It's pretty funny how when he asked that question, to which my add his parents are kind of dicks, like slapping him. You asked him to ask a question. You don't need to slap him. He asked the question, you know? And pretty much he asked like, oh yeah, humanity's the reason why all of this is bad. With the only way to save the Earth is to, pretty much take out humanity. And Equal, the girl, pretty much says that as well. And it's pretty funny how like they get mad at him when that's pretty much how it is. Even Kotori later on is saying like they're pretty much like we should just let nature take over kind of thing. That's literally what they're saying. So I don't know why his parents got so mad and slapped him at that point, And it also shows that if there is a little romance, it would be with, I'm guessing, maybe Equal. Like he looked like he did like her, like he was blushing when she turned around when the parents were telling him to ask a question and everything. I'm not too sure how big of a character she is going to be though. She might just be a minor character and show on the side, and maybe we'll never even see her like that much in future episodes anyway. I'm not too sure on that. Finally, we do get to see some of the girls from before. We get to see two of them in this one. First one being Akane, and oh my god, she is so adorable. Literally, I was like, oh my gosh, is that Akane? And she's just like saying, Pa, that's the only word she could say. I was just like, my heart was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Oh man, Kotaro, I don't know how you could just like not just grab her by the cheeks and like, but yeah, like literally, it didn't really show much for her part at least. Kotori had a definitely bigger impact in this episode. Akane was just there to be shown and saying pa and look cute pretty much. It didn't really have any big influence on Kotoro compared to how Kotori does later on. After that whole thing, we pretty much do see him at school again, and we see instead that he's Earth's saving hero. That was pretty interesting to say the least. We do see that he does have his powers still yet, his rewriting abilities. So that begs the question, like for me at least, that I was wondering, is Kotori, have her druid powers? Did her parents already get in an accident and everything? Because I know this happens later, like way before, because when he was younger, he supposedly gets attacked by, what's it called, Kagati, and she heals him when she's like in her younger self. So that would have happened already, right? So I'm not too sure if her parents did get in an accident in this one. Maybe they'll explain later on. If it does explain later on, no spoilers, please. If it doesn't, then you can feel free to comment below. And if you do want to comment anyway, and you're going to see a spoiler, put a spoiler tag and then like leave a bunch of space so you have to click read more. Please, no spoilers. It just ruins it for everyone, including me, to which I don't want to be spoiled for this, because honestly, so far, I definitely am enjoying it a lot. So yeah, it begs the question, like, does everyone still have their powers? Because obviously, like I said, Kotaro has his powers. Does Kotori have her druid powers still yet? Does Lucia still have her powers, her poison powers? Shizuru have her powers as well? That's still another big question for me, to which like I said, it may be something that's added later on. There's like 8 episodes we have still yet for this new arc, so I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen for that whole thing going on forward. This episode we don't get to see Shizuru, Lucia, or Chihaya, so that's kind of sad. It sucks. And that's another question I was wondering as well, is Sakuya really gone since he gathered all of his selves from the different timelines, different worlds and everything, and you used it to protect them in that moon root battle? So I'm thinking he's gone, period. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy as well, that Kotoro's not going to have like kind of a person to train him, though it looks like his training will be a lot different, maybe obviously from the Guardian side, to which we see all the young Guardians. It was pretty cool to see them, see young Isaka. He's pretty badass. Yeah, telling him lies, of course, that they were just like zookeepers and everything, looking at new life forms, not life forms, new species in the forest. That was just a big bird. No, that was a dinosaur. To which I gotta say, I always think that rewrite looks fine, and then when they bring in the CGI monsters, it's just like, oh my gosh, just don't bring them in, please. Just don't. Sometimes it looks okay, and I'm not too mad about it, but sometimes it just looks bad. And I mean, it's not like horrible, but still, like, they could do so much better with that. Like, literally, why do they gotta make the monsters look like that? I don't understand that part. But yeah, he ends up getting saved by them. And I'm not too sure, like, I'm guessing this is where later on they'll keep an eye on him and everything. Not that they they had suspicions seeing that his blood stopped and everything, so he was kind of in control of his blood. The whole Wolverine claw thing probably helped as well. That they'll probably watch him and then bring him into the organization, just like Shizuru and Lucia as well, and that's maybe why we see him as an agent later on in, you know, how it's shown in the opening. I'm not too sure. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's what it looks like it's going to happen. Now, after all that happens, we finally get to be... Oh, no, wait. I was going to say we finally get to introduce to Kotori, but there's one part before that that I absolutely loved. I was laughing. Is that we get to see Yoshino, like little Yoshino, and he's like full-blown... He's getting, you know, his wallet taken by these guys, and Kotaro saves him. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cool. Do you like know, you know, martial arts or something?" And he's like praising him and like, oh my gosh, this is like a complete 360 of how like their relationship really was. And it's pretty funny just to see Yoshino actually praise Kotaro and like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cool." I was just cracking up. I was like, oh man, are they going to show more of that? Because I would definitely love to see more of like his influence on Yoshino. Because we see everyone's influence on Kotaro, but like it'd be cool to see his influence on Yoshino, even though Yoshino's not like a main character, you know? Because obviously, towards the end, now we finally get introduced to Kotori, who has a huge influence and impact on how Kotaro is in this episode. Because pretty much in this episode, the way he acts is he just runs away from everything, really. That's just how it is, you know? And in this one, he meets her, to which, may I add, she is just plain savage in this episode. Like, "Yeah, I'm looking down on you. Yeah, you know, you're nothing, really. You're just running away," and all this kind of stuff. The way she looks at him and just talks to him, just like, damn, she ain't scared. She ain't giving a crap. That's like a complete different Kotori from what we've seen before. Maybe that's obviously because, you know, she doesn't have Kotaro there with her, kind of thing. I'm still like kind of, maybe it's also that she doesn't have her powers and her parents really are her parents in this one. You know, they're not like reborn like how she did it before, like created monsters. So that's pretty interesting to see that she also has a different personality. And it's not just Kotaro that has a new personality, it's her as well. So maybe everyone else, we can't really say with Akane because all she says is "pa" all the time. So we don't really know if everyone else has a different personality, but it's pretty cool to see how her personality is at least. And then of course we get introduced to her, you know, her dog Pedo, and she's completely different personality, super cute at that point. And Kotaro goes and finds the dog, and it pretty much, the reasoning, the way she is and everything, and how she influences him, and she ends up changing him to want to leave Martel as well, and finally, you know, move forward instead of running away. So it should definitely be interesting to see how future episodes will be now that he is leaving Martel. Like, what is his parents gonna do? Is this where he joins Guardian? Is Gaia gonna do something? Are we gonna get to see the other girls, Shizuru, Lucia, and Chihaya as well? Are we gonna get to see more of Akane, more of Kotori? There's literally a lot of questions that I do have, obviously, because this is, of course, the start of a new arc. So, of course, everything is starting fresh. Everything is starting new with huge things coming along throughout the episodes. But, yeah, it's really all I gotta say. That was pretty much the whole episode. I definitely enjoyed this new start. Definitely has a different feel in comparison to how the first season went and how the Moon route went. So, literally, I am excited and definitely hopeful to see how the rest of the season goes, especially considering a lot of people, like, you know, in the forums were saying that they did like this episode and it's being adapted well. Like, I want to know, I'm going to ask you guys before I end this, obviously, as I usually do. Visual novel readers, how did you feel about this episode? I did see like a bunch of people in the forums, visual novel readers and anime watchers only, did enjoy, and the visual novel readers, some of them said that the pacing was a little fast, so I was wondering, is the pacing fast or is it still on a good course? Because remember, we do have like 8 more episodes still yet, so I felt the pacing was good at this point. I didn't think it was that fast, so that's my opinion though. So yeah, I want to know, visual novel readers, how did you feel about this episode? You know, your opinions on how everything is, how everything's going to happen in the future, the pacing, all that kind of stuff. If you want to say something, feel free to comment below. Anime watchers only, how did you feel about the episode in comparison to Moon Route? Do you feel this is less confusing? Do you still think it's very confusing? There's a lot of questions you still have. How did you like it? Do you like the pacing and everything? Feel free to comment below, you know, everything that you guys thought as well. It's always interesting to see what you guys thought, your opinions and everything on the episode, especially with something as big as this, because I know a lot of people, visual novel readers included, like this is probably their favorite visual novel. So it's really interesting to see how the anime is adapting it for your view, considering how bad it was adapted for a lot of the visual novel readers for the first season. It's honestly just amazing to see how everyone is, you know, seeing this second season, how 8-bit is doing such a better job in my opinion, and I'm literally definitely excited for it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. So if you enjoyed, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.